Welcome back to I Want Her Job, where we are featuring curated career conversations that will help you grow and inspire your inner light that you share with others in the office and at home. My name is Brianne Burrows, and I am the founder of I Want Her Job. This season, we're talking about the in-between, that awkward phase when you're trying to get from where you've been to where you want to be. Maybe you're waiting for that next title jump. Maybe you've been sending out resumes and interviewing and working for that next job offer, but you haven't heard anything back yet. Regardless of what you're waiting for, it can be hard to feel like you're working day in and day out, but still keep the hope that what you're waiting for is coming your way. In season 1 of the I Want Her Job podcast, I'm speaking with people who are in the middle of it themselves, or who have been in this very spot in their life, but now find themselves confidently on the other side. Because if life has taught me anything, it's that seasons come and seasons go. And even if you're not in an in-between phase in your job or your life right now, you will be again at some point in some way. And I invite you to come along with me and explore how we can invest in creating the best outcomes for ourselves that's possible. I'm excited to introduce you to today's guest, Virginie Dyvorne. Virginie is a maker, founder, and owner of Whimsy Jewelry. And if you're watching this, you'll see one of her rainbow necklaces on me right now. I met Virginie over a decade ago during a craft fair in New York City. Her colorful, playful, imaginative, delicate, and feminine jewelry caught my eye. Since then, we've become friends. I appreciate Virginie's creativity and passion. She's always imagining the next way to evolve her thoughtfully crafted jewelry brand that she says is like wearing happiness, and I couldn't agree more. Launching her business in Paris in 2005, Virginie's jewelry has endured with her followers as each piece is like wearing a mini story. From light bulb lariat necklaces to 3D dogs to girls jumping rope. Her designs are timeless and sure to be loved by you, your daughter, your sister, your mom, your best friend, and the others in your life. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the times Virginie has felt like she's been stuck in the in-between in her business, creatively, and in her growth as a brand. Virginie is an OG leading lady who was first on I Want Her Job years ago. You can read my first interview with her on iwantherjob.com. And today I'm excited to reintroduce her to all of you. Virginie, welcome.
I'm Virginie Dyvorne, so I'm the maker and founder behind Whimsy Jewelry.
I love it. So, okay, we have such a cool story. We met, I think it was in Brooklyn. Was it in Brooklyn?
I think so.
It was at a pop-up. So I remember you had, there was like a market. It was a pop-up market. I was there with my friend Rachel, and I walked by your booth, and you were selling the most incredible, adorable, delicate, colorful jewelry, and it caught my eye. And I tried to find my original necklace to wear today for this interview, but I can't find it. I think it's been like worn out, that thing. It was a little tiny chevron.
Oh, yeah. I remember this one. That's an old.
I absolutely loved it. And that is where we met initially. And then, oh my goodness, it was probably
over 10 years ago. It was maybe 12. I don't know.
It's been a long time because I'm trying to remember. It was a trip where I went to New York City in January. I remember it was really cold. I went out there around my birthday. It was really fun. But yeah, it's been, I think, 12 years or more.
Yeah, easily. We haven't changed at all.
A handful of years ago, when I was living in Phoenix, you were in town and we actually met up for lunch then as well.
Yeah. That was, I want to say, in 2016.
I love it.
2015 or 2016, right?
I think it was right around there. Yep.
Yeah.
And I think it's so cool. We bonded even more over salads. I think we had.
Yeah. Yes, I remember. It was a cute restaurant. Yeah.
It was so good. And so I was so excited. I, of course, follow you. I follow you on Instagram. I follow your career. I'm a big fan of yours. I buy your stuff. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you about today is, you've had a small business that you started on your own and it's still in business. I think that's absolutely incredible because I'm relaunching I Want Her Job, so I haven't been working on it for the past 4 years. I took a hiatus And as I've been going through for the redesign on the website, I've been going to old interviews and I've been checking all the links. I've removed old links that are no longer active. And what I've learned in the process is there's actually a lot of women I've interviewed who their businesses aren't in existence anymore. And so I'd like to kind of start off by asking you about that. Like, what do you think has been the secret to your longevity? And also a little bit more about what that kind of ride has been like from when you started to where you sit currently.
Oh, wow. From when I started almost 20 years ago, so that's a really, really long time. I'm not sure why I'm still in business. I just want to say that I'm still as passionate today as I was when I first started it. So passion has definitely carried me through all these years with the ups and downs that we've all had. And then I've evolved quite a bit as a woman, as a business owner over the 20 last years. And I have honed in my skills. But yeah, the constant is my love for what I do. And I guess I also have not exploded, you know. Maybe people have failed because they were super ambitious. I'm very lean and cautious in, you know, the way I manage my company. I mean, more on a financial aspect. I didn't try to, I don't know, have a store or have huge wholesale orders. So everything I do is very manageable and small. So I'm not sure it's very positive in a way because I haven't grown that much, but I managed to keep myself in existence all this year. So I guess that's why I haven't had very ambitious goals. I just wanted to grow and to keep doing what I love while still being in control of the business. I haven't sought out fundings or anything to do anything crazy out of my range. I just wanted to design and make and keep meeting people in person. So that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years with some progress and with some, you know, changes. But that's the base of my business hasn't changed that much. So I guess that's why.
You did mention that you've had some changes that you've encountered over the course of the past 20 years. And season on the podcast, the theme is transformation, it's transitions, and it's also kind of like that about that time where you're in between. So maybe, you know, you haven't started the business, but you're not at its peak. You're in that in between. You're like in that, you know, that descent or ascent, not descent, hopefully, the ascent where you're climbing upward. And, you know, my question for you is, can you dig into some of those changes that you've experienced in your business?
I mean, I've been conducting business in a few different ways. Like, I used to sell wholesale, for example, and I stopped. I took it back again. I stopped. I changed location. So my husband took a job in Connecticut, so we left New York for 5 years. So I lived in the middle of nowhere in Connecticut, so that was a huge change for me. I've been very isolated from my fellow makers and from the community of jewelers in Diamond District. I have changed business names, so I have had so many changes. The only constant is I've kept most of my oldest, you know, design throughout all these years, and I kept doing in-person shows. So my aesthetic and my way of selling my product primarily hasn't changed, but a lot of other aspects of my business have changed.
And so what were some of those moments like for you? So, you know, you're someone who is used to being in front of your customer, you're meeting with her, you're having conversations with her, and this is happening for you basically from when you started your business up through, you know, the thick of it. And then 5 years ago, you moved to another state, you're living, you know, in a completely new space, you're not able to see your customer face to face on a frequent basis, you're not with your fellow maker community. So what was that like for you? What did that feel like?
Really bad at first. It was very hard. I had what I think I would call similar to a depression at first, because I was both constantly in touch with my suppliers, meaning my caster, my polisher, my gemstone setter in Diamond District, and I was in a space sharing a floor with many other artists where we shared a kitchen. I was in Astoria. It was a very vibrant and creative community. And overnight, almost, like, the move was way too sudden and too efficient in a way for me. I was by myself in this huge house with just the sound of birds and the ruffle of of leaves against the windows. And I was like, okay, wow, the silence. I haven't heard that in a very long time. And I felt very isolated. I haven't met anyone really in Connecticut in those 5 years I was there, but it's still a manageable distance to go back to New York. So I was still able to take the train once a week to get my dose of, excitement and energy going to New York. It felt like a lot of energy. It's not the level of energy I was used to. I know my base level was really calm and quiet. And each time I went back, it felt like, I was getting recharged. And then I would slowly come down from that. So yeah, it was definitely a huge adjustment period. And I've had other, like, my cat got eaten by a coyote in my garden. Like, I've had a really very tough experiences moving there, from the city life to the almost countryside life. Was quite a hard transition for me. But after a few years, I got to appreciate the calm, especially what was really fortunate for me and for my husband is that we got to be in that house during COVID, the years of isolation. And I don't think it would have been the same being in a small apartment in New York. We could go for runs, for a walk. We were in a house by the beach. It was Brantford, and we were living near the Sound, which is a mass of water that's, it's not a really nice beach, but it's still, peaceful and zen-like to just sit in front of a body of water and just relax and do some mental exercises, meditation and stuff like that. So it definitely helped me keep me sane, I guess, during COVID years. But at first, when everyday life was, as we've always known it, changed from New York to Connecticut, it was definitely a harsh transition. I just learned to appreciate the good side of it with time.
So do you say that that's the key that helped get you through that time was looking for what is the good coming out of this situation and then focusing your mindset on those things? Is that kind of, that what, when you reflect back on that period of your life, is that what you feel kind of got you to that next step?
Yeah, definitely. And also I try to recreate a space that would mimic my inner self when I was there. I was very fortunate, so we don't have kids, and in that house my studio was basically the biggest, like the master bedroom in the house on the top level, and it was surrounded with 6 or 7 windows with just big trees around it. So light for me is really important, and colors. So I kind of decorated and surrounded myself in that room with very cheerful, colorful prints, and like I have here. So to help make me feel like the most happy version of myself there. And then it also learned me to slow down, because in a way, when you live in a big city, you're always on go, 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 and on the next thing, and so many things at once. And when you land there and you experience the calm, you, in a way, sometimes painfully face yourself, and you really have to get to know you better and face what you really need, what you really thrive to be in balance, to be in harmony. And that's not always a very easy thing to do when you're used to just rushing and not questioning anything in your life. So that was a learning experience also.
What you said there was so profound, and I want to underscore that, because we are people who are always so busy. We're always on with email, with social media, with our cell phones, and with friends in different time zones even. I can be out here in the central time zone, like getting ready to fall asleep, and someone in California will text me, and it feels like you're always on. And when you are faced with that quiet time, you don't have all these things happening around you. Suddenly you are confronted with those bigger questions, and you can either try to numb it out and distract yourself, or you can say, okay, this is uncomfortable. What am I supposed to get out of this? What am I supposed to learn? Like, what do I need to learn about myself? And it sounds like this was that period of time where, you really dug into that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also learned the importance of physical exercise, mental health, and diversity in creative endeavors. Like, especially during COVID, like I've never worked out so much that during COVID, I had like a daily routine of 45 minutes, I was doing stretching and fitness just on the mat in my living room to stay healthy and in a good state of mind. Like the physical health helps the mental health. And I would go on the run like almost every other day for like 45 minutes along the beach to clear my mind. So those two activities were especially easy to do in a context like the house we lived in Connecticut. And also, since I had so much space and so much time, I started another creative endeavor that was not jewelry. I studied a terrazzo practice. So I learned a new skill, and it was a fun thing to do. I was outside of always, focusing on things to make, to sell them, for my jewelry business. So I diversified in a way. I opened myself, I listened to myself more, and I gave my body and my mental health the tools it needed to stay in shape, I guess.
I'm proud of you. That's not easy.
Thank you so much.
Do you find that when you went through that period of your life, how did that affect your creative process? Like, did you find that it did affect it? And if so, in what way? Like, were you coming up with different types of designs than before? Or were you, because you were by the beach, maybe you were fascinated with starfish? Or I'm just providing an example. Like, did you find that being in a new surrounding introduced you to new ideas creatively with your jewelry designs?
Not really. I must say, not really. I guess during that time, I kept using the same themes I had already used and try to add more. Like, for example, I had a jump rope player, and then I added a swimmer necklace, and then I added an aerialist. So I just added to my existing collection, but I don't think I got particularly inspired by my surroundings because it's not like in New York where you could go to, there was a New Haven museum that's really nice. But besides that, there was not really a lot of creatives that could feed me, because I guess what I feed on when I'm in New York is the creative energy of others and the possibility to go to show, exhibit, to be bombarded by images and immersed in that culture in a way. While in Connecticut, I was more isolated. So it's hard to find inspiration when you're really isolated. So I guess I went back to my core designs and my core collection and developed them more. But I can't say that I was really particularly inspired by anything beach-like. I don't have like a very boho, beach-like aesthetic. So it's not really a thing that inspired me. But it grounded me and calmed me in a way and made me more able to be in focus, I guess. More that inspired me, really.
And your jewelry is so playful. It's one of the things I love about it. And I love that you've been so consistent with your color patterns as well, because I happen to just really love your color patterns, and I love color in general. So it's one of the things that I admire about your work. So it's interesting to me, because when I asked that question, I thought, oh yeah, this would have changed her creatively. But you're like, no, I get my energy in New York City. I'm a New York City girl. That's where I get my ideas. So I think that's really neat. And is that something you learned about yourself too? Or did you always know that you were a city person?
Yeah, I always knew that. I was dreading moving there. Yeah. So when I met you in Phoenix, my husband was changing job at that time. And so he had considered a position in Phoenix. And then he accepted the position in Guilford, so outside of 30 minutes west of New Haven. And so to me, it was an easier change because I was still going to be able to go back to New York. But I knew, like, we used to live in Paris. I've lived in Paris for 8 years before moving into New York. And I know that's where I thrive. I'm not a countryside girl. I wish I would be, but I became one by the force of, things. But I'm more happy with activity and energy around me than I am with quiet.
Well, I love that you know that. And another change you referenced, and one thing I wanted to ask you about is, I work in marketing, like I have throughout my career, and it's what I do during my day job. And you launched a rebrand of your line. I mean, you renamed it, you have a new logo. Something like that is not easy to do. So what inspired that change, and what was that process and that transformation like for you?
So it came out of necessity, really. So as I mentioned before, I do pop-up show, and I in contact with direct customers all the time. That's what I do most of the time. That's how I make business. And a lot of people are not French, believe it or not. And so when they say, so what is your brand? And I say, oh yeah, Virginie Dyvorne. Say, huh? Say what? And so I would repeat myself constantly, like 3 or 4 times. And people would say, yep, still didn't get it. And then I heard, so I keep listening to what people used for the words to describe my business and my style, really. It was like, oh, such whimsical pieces. Oh, you have a sense of whimsy. Oh, your pieces are so happy. Oh, your pieces are so joyful. So I was like, okay, so I need to name my work separate from me that actually describes something that people are going to resonate with the words I see them use. And so whimsy. And I have it's kind of an inside joke. Like, I have a friend of mine who used to live in New York who used to make fun of me because people say whimsy a lot, you know. So she would call me whimsy, you know, and she's like, whimsy, you know, because for us it's kind of a funny word. And so I took the joke in real life, and I was like, you know what, this is what I am. I am Whimsy Jewelry. This is what it is. And so I was hoping doing so that people would understand my business name the first time and would be able to remember also my URL to go on my website to shop online. Because I've had instances where people come find me at a pop-up and say, oh my God, you're here. You have no idea. I've been looking for you for such a long time. And I put Virginie, I put a French light bulb, New York necklace. I could never find you. Oh my God, give me your business card. I could never remember your name. I've had that quite a few times. And so it made me think that, okay, I have to find something that's intelligible, that's actually descriptive of the work I do. And that's how I decided to switch name, which was a hard thing to do because, so as I mentioned before, Virginie Dyvorne is not my real name either. Dyvorne is a technique I used to use when I first started jewelry, like in 2005, and it was with polymer clay. It was a technique like the Murano glass, you know. It's a similar technique. When you use canes and you cut section, you apply to decorate a surface. So that technique I used to use a long time ago that I don't even use anymore. But people who I met through shows in Paris think that my last name is Dyvorne. It's an Italian name, and you did
I felt
too,
so
right?
silly. I felt so silly because I thought the same thing. I thought,
no, but everybody did. It's not you. So it's kind of weird. Because it's an Italian word, it describes a technique I don't even use anymore. So I always felt kind of silly using that name because it's never been my name, but people knew me under that name for so long. And all the press and all the links I've had towards my e-shop were using that URL. So it was really hard for me to, in a way, renounce and scratch all that and start from scratch, because I would lose all my SEO, all my referencing. You know, I would be a completely unknown business and like a complete beginner. So I was like, oh, but that's okay because I have so many shows lined up for 2020. You see where this is going. And I'm going to tell people that that's my new business name and there's going to be a transition. It's going to be smooth and then no problem. And then COVID happened and then all these shows got canceled. And so all of a sudden, I became this new brand that nobody had ever known. I had a lot of people on Instagram unfollow me, say, Whimsy Jewelry. I never followed that name. Who is that? Like, this is spam, and you know. So it was so hard for me coming back to doing shows after almost 3 years of not having able to communicate to my customers the change that I had operated. But that was too late. I switched the URL redirect. I switched everything, you know, on paper. I could not go back, and that was it. But I had a lot of people who, love my old name, say, why did you do that? But I still get confirmation to this day that this is a good name. I just have to build up the reference and the press and the mentions again to have this ranking on Google go a little bit higher up, because it's still a uphill battle. But that was that was a brand name, not super smart move, not super good timing, I would say. I think still smart move, even though like I still have a hard time getting used to it, because it's not my name anymore. It's just more a descriptive object. It's not a person. And also I changed the colors also of my business. It used to be a little bit more girly, a little bit more like pink and peach, something very soft, very juvenile, to something a little bit more mature with very vibrant colors and contrasting colors, to assess that I have evolved as a person and as a business. So it felt like I needed a change. I needed to be like, okay, I put my stick in the ground and I say, this is who I am now. This is what I do. This is how you describe my work. And this is going to be my new name from now on. It was just like poor timing. Couldn't know. And it's still a work in process. But yeah.
Well, and you added some new options to your line as well. So I remember before, I'm wearing all of your pieces right now along with another brand's necklace, but I remember before you didn't have fine jewelry, or do you call it demi-fine? I'm not sure, but you have like diamond, correct me, I don't know the lingo like you do, but you have diamonds and things like that in your in your pieces now available. You still have, your other enamel-based type jewelry. So what was that decision like, and that rollout and adding that to your business?
The fine jewelry. So for me, my pieces are really part of the lives of my customers. And I feel like when you create a fine jewelry piece, like a solid gold with precious stones piece, it's going to be part of the customer's life in a more even more meaningful manner. For example, I have one of my bestsellers, my pyramid earrings, that are making the women feel confident. Let's say they have a job interview. Like, oh yeah, I look good, I feel good when I have those earrings, they're good. But then I had, for example, this special anniversary project I did with a husband for their 10-year anniversary, celebrating their son's love for fireflies. And so I did this really special project with solid yellow gold, with the yellow sapphires, and I worked hand in hand with the husband to surprise his wife, and it was so beautiful and so meaningful, and this is a piece she will cherish forever. So you see the difference of impact. I love both, but then with fine jewelry, I'm able to be present in customers' lives and journey in very key and celebratory moments, or sometimes in sad moments as well. I do also memory jewelry, but I get to be part of their very special moments, and I love that about fine jewelry. And it's also a new skill. It makes me feel like I always have something to learn, and I still evolve also as a person and as a brand owner, to be able to not only do like the silver and the gold field pieces with enamel, but also, I've done stuff. I've redone my wedding band in solid yellow gold with a diamond. I worked with tons of gemstone. I keep learning because I'm fortunate enough to be now that I moved back to New York, very close to Diamond District, and people there are a wealth of knowledge. So every day, every new project, every new request I get to learn new things. So that's also answering the first question you had, like, how do you keep, in business all these times? Because I evolve, I keep learning, and I'm still curious about it. And I guess it's just an upward journey. So adding fine jewelry felt like a natural evolution in a way.
That next step. Well, I absolutely love that. And I love that you have these relationships with your customers. That's something, just even reflecting on how we met and how we've stayed in touch. And it's amazing to think about how you have all these beautiful relationships with all of these people because of your passion and because of the work that you do. And that those people tell their friends about it. And it's really special. And I've got to say, like, I feel you put so much thought into your pieces, and I feel like each one tells a story, it's not just a butterfly. It's the way you put the butterfly together that tells the story. Like, I love some of your butterfly pieces so much. I feel like there's so much thought and intention put into things. And I'm curious, with all of these pieces, which ones are your favorites? What are your go-tos?
Oh, so I have a favorite. It's called the Daisy necklace. So I guess I love to suffer. That was a really hard one to make work. So I don't know if you know that, but my background is as an engineer. So I'm an engineer for physics and chemistry. So I think also that's why I love jewelry. I love to solve a problem, to understand how could I find a solution to make this thing work, how could it smoothly rotate, how is it going to be comfortable, how will it balance correctly. So I love all aspects of that. And so that's a lot of problem solving I had to do with this daisy necklace. And it also carries a piece of my cultural heritage. So in French, we don't say he loves me not. We have 5 different answers. And so we say un peu, a little bit, beaucoup, a lot, un peu, beaucoup, passionnément, so passionately, à la folie, so madly. And then we say not at all, so pas du tout. And so we have these 5 different answers. And then I made if you say encapsulated flower necklace that rotates, you can fidget it. And then just one petal shows out from that box. I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly, but then you can read the answer and fidget it. And on the back, I engrave "Love is a kid's game." So I love this necklace because it's both something creatively that I had to think a lot about and that's also kind of fun and whimsical, like the essence of my work, and also has a touch of French. So represents my culture and also technical challenges that are things that I enjoy. So maybe that's one of my favorites. And then I have many other ones I love, of course. But this one, stands out.
And it's true. Your jewelry, one of the things I appreciate about it is it does have that movement feel to it. I mean, I remember you have little pinwheels that I thought were so cool.
Exactly.
How you put it together.
Yeah.
And just the way it almost looks like there is a lot of movement in your pieces, and I hadn't really considered that before. But you're so right. It's one of the things I love about it.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a lot of kinetic pieces. I have like an electric fan you can blow on. I have a lot of different, like a butterfly that's articulated. I have just a propeller, little thingy. So yeah, I just love fun
know that
stuff.
piece too. Yeah, it's like I think that adds to the playfulness of it as well, because you can be an adult wearing it and you're like, it's fun. It's like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah,
It's one of the things I love. Yeah, absolutely. I'm also curious to know something that I am so interested in as a creative person is the state of flow. Do you find when you're designing a piece of jewelry or when you're making it by hand or putting it together, where do you find your flow state, and what is that like for you?
I feel like I'm always in flow state because I am lucky enough to have a day that never looks the same. I mean, the hours of the day are very diverse, and so I get to have very different activities throughout the day. And as long as I think that you don't do the same thing for over, 2 hours, you can be really focused and in a flow state. And that's what happens to me. Like every single day, I dissect it into time slots. So for example, I get here in the morning, I have castings to clean. So I listen to a podcast and I do very repetitive work at my bench. And I'm completely immersed in what I do. I feel like I'm in a flow state. But if I do that all day long, I'll have pain in my arms. I'll be like, oh, I've done this for so long. This is getting boring, So I never reach that stage when you lose your flow state because I keep changing activities. Not too fast, but I think I don't do anything for over 1 to 2 hours at a time. And then I find flow again if I have to photograph pieces. So it takes me quite a while to figure out the lighting, the equipment, the good flow, but then I can photograph, many earrings or many rings in a row. Same thing for enamel. So when I do enamel, again, I listen to podcasts or I watch even like a TV show. And same thing for when I go to Diamond District, I have a very organized to-do list, and I go see people in the order in which I have to bring different stages of the creative process to different people. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but it's very organized in the way like, oh, I get this first because that other person will need more time to finish it. I'll see him last, and then while he makes this, I'm gonna drop this ring there. Oh, and I need to buy this gemstone. So I'm also in a flow state, and it's a balance between very introvert activities like enameling, bench work, photography, when it's just me, you know, my quiet space, just like I had in Connecticut, and very extroverted, more people versed activities where I'm in contact with a lot of suppliers, and they're busy, and I need to communicate what I need them to do for when, etc. And we also have a personal relationship with a lot of them, because I've been using the same polisher caster for, oh my God, over 12 years now. So some of them, I know their entire family life story, you know. It's not just like, hi, do you have my stuff? Okay, thank you, bye. It's like, oh, how is blah, 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 you know. Oh, what's up with, how is your wife? Did she broke her arm? She better, okay, do good. And you know what I mean? So it's like a dance of all the peoples, and it's really convenient because Diamond District is really one street, everybody's there, you know. It's not like you take the subway to go this part of the city, of that part in the city, like I used to do in Paris. It's a very small community where I know everybody, and so I go there as like a interaction boost for my day, if you want. So I feel like in all these activities, because they are time constrained within like 1 or 2 hours, I'm able to be efficient and feel the most in flow, because first it's a variety of activities, and also there are time bound. Yeah, makes sense. They're yeah, okay.
It totally makes sense. Well, and I love that you hit on this fact too, that to help yourself find flow, you really have a balance of introverted and extroverted activities that you do. And
yeah,
it's something I've never really, I guess I've thought about a little bit with myself, because I feel like I'm that way too. Like I have taken those personality tests, and I do, it's funny because some people will say I'm extrovert. I'm like, no, I'm such an introvert. But I'm
exactly,
like really right on that
yeah.
cusp. Like I'm almost an equal balance of the two when I take those.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that's something that maybe you are as well. And you really get your energy from both different places. But if you dive into one area for too long, it can be exhausting. Or as you made the point at our age, you start to feel it in your body. Like I know when I write, I can't, like, I just kind of like crunch up like this, and my shoulders are hunching forward, and then I hear like from the doctor, no, you need to stretch, you need to do all these things. So I can imagine what that's like with you, you know, bent over and enameling and doing all the work that you do. Yeah. So
absolutely, that's what the orthopedics told me yesterday. By the way, I have a shoulder bursitis. And so she say, oh, but you say in the form that you're a jeweler, right? I'm like, yeah. Oh, so basically you're hunched like that all day. I'm like, yeah, kind of. She said, yeah, you really have to change your posture. I'm like, all right. I thought I had good posture, but right.
Like the fun things we learn as we get older. Like I could do without that. Like I think the key message that's come through for me is, okay, about an hour when your watch is going off, it says you need to stand, go up and do a little stretch, because if you're hunched over like this all the time, you need to kind of do the reverse of it. So it's like anything in life. You need that balance, right?
Balance, always. Balance is key. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Virginie, as we come to the end of our conversation, I wanted to ask you, what is one piece of advice or one takeaway if someone was listening to this podcast and, you know, they're going through this time of transition themselves and they're looking to maybe stick with it or persevere? What would be the advice that you would give to them? What if this was one of your friends asking you that question? What would you say to her?
For a small business? Yeah. I would say to be very lean. Don't start too big or too ambitious, and test your ideas and your product. Get feedback, because a lot of the time people like me, I'm sure you're the same, we're very perfectionist, and we wait. No, I need to have this perfect website, and no, my pictures are not good enough. And, I don't think I need to have more pieces available to sell to people before I can do a show. Oh, I'm not ready for that show because I want this display that I don't have yet. You know, we always find excuse to postpone the exposure to feedback, and I think that was the most helpful in any business. I've come to learn it the hard way as well, and I think the best advice I would give to somebody who starts is just whatever you have ready, show and get feedback on that, and then assess, go back, revise, listen to people carefully, because they are your customer. They are the ones who are gonna buy from you, and don't necessarily just ask your friends, because your friends are only gonna tell you, yeah, I like it, I would definitely buy it. But would you though? Because it's easy to say, but then, you know, a total stranger, when you have paid for your booth and you have money out in a way, because you I don't know, I'm taking the show of the example of a pop-up show, but for example, you pay for the place, and then you pay for the display, and you pay for the production of the little samples you've made. You put yourself out there, and you're very vulnerable in a way. Then you have to listen to feedbacks, and then take that into account, and from there regroup and assess what was working, what could be improved upon, and then from there continue and grow little by little. I'm not the one who would be from the get-go go start and have fundings to have huge advertisements, on the subway or on the street, or from the get-go want to have a brick and mortar store. I always, grew little by little, which is a very slow process, but it's been 20 years and I'm still here, and I still, meet amazing people and keep in touch with amazing people like you. And so I think it's just a matter of being true to who you are, what you want to make, what is your personality that you're gonna put into your business, and then listening to feedback from customers. Like, I think at this stage, half of the pieces I have on my website are requests from customers. Like, most of the time, I listen and I say, okay, this is maybe the 20th time I've heard that request, so it's probably a very insightful one, and I should take that into account and add that to my next iteration of new collection. Because a lot of people will also give you unsolicited advice. Oh, you should definitely do, like at my last show I had a woman tell me, why don't you make a flamingo necklace that has a golf ball on it? I'm like, okay, that's very niche. Thank you for the feedback. I'll keep that in mind if I hear 20 more people say the same thing, So just take everything with a grain of salt, but be very attentive to even the body language and how people, their micro expression reacts to your product, your ideas, and take notes and take everything into account without taking it personal. So that's the hard part. It's your product, it's not you. And I would say regroup, assess, and then reiterate until you get the perfect mix of design, pricing, quality, and presentation, and everything from the marketing mix, that would make it sustainable for you to continue selling for your business.
I love that answer. It's like a mini masterclass in what it takes to be a small business owner. I mean, to bullet that out a little bit, don't take feedback personally. It's your work, right? Yeah. You want to make sure that you're seeking customer feedback, but also that you're listening to it, and then you're iterating beyond that. I heard building relationships there, and how key and critical that is. And then
Absolutely.
I think perhaps the most important thing that is maybe undervalued a bit in society today is the hard work over time that goes in day after day after day to keep incrementally growing and expanding your business. So thank you, Virginie, for this great advice. I know there's going to be listeners out there and readers on iwantherjob.com and are going to love hearing this. I hope everybody has the chance to go to your website. It's whimsyjewelry.com, correct?
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I will include links to some of the pieces she mentioned. She did mention some great triangle-shaped earrings for when you're going on a job interview. So if you're someone who's not sure what to wear, take it from a designer's mouth. And I'll have all of that information and more in the show notes and on the website. So thank you, Virginie. It's so great to see you again. And thank you for sharing your energy and your wisdom with us.
My absolute pleasure, Brian. Let's do it again before 10 years now.
I agree. We'll make it a date. At I Want Her Job, we are mentors, risk takers, motivated by helping everyday women, goal setting, change leading, and ambitious, storytellers and story lovers, invested not in one, but in the whole. If you're with me, please share this podcast with someone in your life who's going through a season of change. All you have to do on iTunes is click on those three little dots in the upper right corner and select share episode. And if you're on YouTube, simply send the link. And while you're there, if you'd leave a review, I'd really appreciate it, because this podcast can only grow through people just like you, through listeners like you, through viewers like you, who are sharing this with the loved ones in your life. Thank you. Your time is the greatest gift that you could give me, and I'm very grateful for that. I hope something in today's show resonated with you, and that it inspires you to inspire others. Keep making it happen.